Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And today is going to be a banger because we're talking about 3 reasons why your post vacation relationship anxiety is happening again and again and again. All right. And so I want you to listen closely because if this is you, then you want to save it, send it, download it, all the things. This episode is going to be seriously one you want to keep in a playlist somewhere. Okay. So let's say you've had a great weekend. Maybe a holiday just passed. So right now, this is July 2025. It's literally the weekend of July 4th. And I was thinking of something, and I'll share that in a minute. But you had a great weekend. And when you're together, it is so good. When you're together, it's good. And maybe you're coming back from the vacation, the weekend getaway, you're on a road trip, and everything is good. But the moment you're in the car, on the airplane, your butt's hitting the couch back home, you are going from 0 to 10 with your overthinking. You are thinking about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now on Monday? Are we going to stay as close and connected? What's going to happen if he has that business work trip and he's going to be gone, or he's got that big project and he's not going to be as in contact as much? I don't know if you can tell, but I have been there and back. And so for sure, you want to keep this episode, okay? Because I've got you. We're going to go over 3 pieces today, and they kind of are layered. So make sure you stick to the end because the last one obviously is going to just kind of wrap everything up for you in a nice bow. And if you're new here, you might be new. My name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping. This is like my life mission to help high achieving, high performing women who are slaying in your career. Maybe you are a career climber in the corporate area. I could say that 5 times fast. Career corporate climber. Maybe you're a director level, or you have a $15 million book of business. You're killing it. All right. You got the corner office. Or maybe you have a bunch of letters behind your name. Maybe you're an academic. Maybe you have a master's degree, or you're seeking your PhD, or you have an MD, or you're a lawyer. Or maybe you are an entrepreneur like me. Maybe you have different businesses, or you've built really one big business. And I also just want to say achievement is subjective, right? It's up to you. And a lot of my one-on-one clients, specifically, and also in my community, like you all are very driven. Okay, very driven. You have achieved incredible things. And I also just want to say that if you feel like anything that I talk about today resonates with you, then it's for you. All right. And while you are slaying in your career, you are suffering with overthinking. You are spiraling your thoughts around your partner, even if they're good. And if you're in my community, 9 times out of 10, it is a 95% chance that your partner is actually a really great partner. Okay. They are not the drama. I love you. I say that with love, but they're not the drama. They're actually a really good partner. And somehow you're feeling totally effed up about it, right? You're not feeling good. So if that is you, and I am welcoming you, right? This is the place for you. So before we dive in, just a couple of fun things because I was thinking about how all this came together. So Craig and I are fully we're 1 week into our cleanse. Little update. And if you didn't know this, we are embarking on what I would consider the biggest spiritual commitment that I've ever done. We're doing a big retreat at the end of July into August for 10 days. We are basically doing a big spiritual retreat. It's silent. That's one big component of it. And a part of getting ready for this retreat is doing a cleanse. So as you can tell, I don't know. I mean, if you listen to me a lot, you probably know that I don't edit my podcast. I literally shoot it one time and you get it dirty. Okay. I'm not saying I don't start it a bunch of times, but you get it pretty much exactly one shot. And if you notice me messing up, number 1, that's part of the brand. Number 2, forgive me ahead of time because I have cleanse brain. One thing that's also really interesting that I'm noticing, it's actually not that really different than what I normally eat. I've somehow made a commitment, not somehow, but I gave myself the commitment of not drinking for an entire year. We're 7 months in, it's July. Woo, we're doing it. And I feel honestly really great, except for I'm not having as much protein, which is I could do a whole different podcast episode on the mental interesting wrestle that I've had with that. And it's only temporary. Nothing is forever. It's just for now. And so anyway, Craig and I were driving and I was pulling up my phone, and in my phone, it gives you sometimes memories, and it pulled up a memory from us 9 years ago, our very first like little poolside get together. And it was so interesting to me. And I asked him what he thought about that picture and like, whoa, what would Craig and Claire say 9 years later at what's happening? And first of all, it was so, I felt this overwhelming bit of gratitude for myself and all the work that my husband and I have put in to having the relationship that we do now. And if you are seriously brand new, I was heavily anxiously attached. Craig was heavily avoidant, and now we have a secure marriage. And I just have to say, it's like a little bit of a flex because that picture, also, I'll maybe put it in my stories. It is highly, what was filtered. It was meaning like, I don't know what kind of even filter I was using, but man, it's very sepia toned. It's got some weird filter on it. So that you can tell it was like so long ago, 2016, 2017, I don't know, 2017. And I just was so blown away about, oh, wow, like we have come so far. And it also made me think about, wow, what was it like for me during that weekend? Because I definitely, looking at that picture, had some PTSD. We also had this humongous, one of our first biggest, I was feeling anxious. He was avoidant. It was like full on, full swing, literally that night from that picture. And so when that picture, that memory came up, I was feeling really grateful, but also re-traumatized from how rough that weekend was and that actual night was. It was actually also the night that he said he loved me. And, you know, with great, no mud, no lotus is what I like to say. If you've never heard that phrase, the lotus flower, as beautiful as it is, actually the root goes all the way down to the mud. And it's necessary. All lotuses have that. They're rooted in the mud. So yeah, even though we have an amazing relationship now, the truth was it was really muddy initially, and no mud, no lotus. But it made me think about what you are probably experiencing right now, which is I was thinking tomorrow is going to be July 6th. You are going to be hitting the normal thing. Maybe this episode will drop on Tuesday, and you might be in that middle of the freak out. Okay. And so I thought about this episode and I wanted to record it for you. And this would actually apply to any holiday, right? So it's not just Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. It could be coming back from a holiday thing. It could be whatever, right? A weekend getaway. So let's dive into it. So I want to talk about why this keeps happening. Why after a great time together, after a holiday, after you have spent some amazing time together, why this cycle keeps happening. And less about your partner and more about why you tend to start to overthink, why you tend to start to doubt a really good time. Like literally you had a great time together. And I will also admit that sometimes even in our fear or because of our fear, we will start a fight. Like something will kind of come up. Maybe you were white knuckling the entire time, or you didn't want to say something, and then it all builds up. You get on the airplane and it's like, boom, here we are. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this step by step. So this is why this keeps happening. The first piece is the holiday, the weekend together, the vacation. It is like a honeymoon bubble. Okay. I don't care what stage of relationship you're in. I was in fact reflecting on this happened for me internally on our coming back from our month-long trip to Japan and the Philippines. I literally had this big well of emotion and these feelings coming back because Craig and I were together for a whole month, literally traveling side by side. And we've done incredibly hard things together. I'm so proud of us, but living RV life for over 3 years, doing these kind of trips. And I even noticed it for me. I was like, oh, this is like so interesting. I'm having these thoughts, I'm having these feelings. But of course, I've learned how to manage them and learn how to heal them and have better tools. And we're going to talk about some of that today. So I'm just saying, I'm bringing that up because I have been there myself. So honeymoon bubble. Imagine going away for a month with your partner. Oh, beautiful Philippines and all this stuff. Or it can be just going to the mountains or to the beach or wherever your getaway is. You go to, I don't know, Great Wolf Lodge. I don't know if you want to do that with a bunch of kids, but fine. So it's a honeymoon bubble. And one of the things and why we go on vacation and why we have these holidays is it's a break. It's a break from the routine, all right? Like that's like it's one of the best things about being alive is like going and treating yourself, right? It's a break from the routine. It's a break from the normal, right? And so some of you maybe are like Craig and I when we first started dating. We were long distance-ish, where I lived in a very southern part of Denver, the most south part of Denver metro that you can be. And Craig lived in Boulder. If you're familiar at all with that, that's probably about on a good day, I'm talking 5 o'clock in the morning, probably like a 55 minute drive. If it's normal time, it's probably like a 75-minute drive. So we weren't like in each other's neighborhood. All right. So, when you're in that kind of long distance ish relationship, or maybe you are long distance, the time together is really amplified. It's really not structured, but it's really condensed. And also why this honeymoon bubble happens is that you're stress free. You're on vacation. You're on freaking vacation, right? It's a break from the normal. And I also want to say it's a break from your own normal, but it's also not normal. Right? It's not like being in a vacation. I was also thinking about I was thinking about our very first vacation together. We drove, not the very first, but I took my husband, then boyfriend, to the Outer Banks, which if you're from the East Coast, you know about the Outer Banks probably, or you've seen the show. All right. And it is this condensed weird time where you're sharing the same bathroom. You're, brushing your teeth together. Maybe one person's pooping, whatever. And it's just like not normal, right? It's not a normal time. And this dedicated quality time, right? This is also the piece of it. This is also why if you have anxious attachment, that time together feels so good because it's dedicated quality time. In some ways, it's like there's no escape. And if you're like me, it's like, yes, there is no escape. We're together the whole time. And while that is great and it's a beautiful part of relationship to do that getaway, it's manufactured. Okay. It's manufactured closeness. And sweet needs sour, right? Just because you have this quality time, it's dedicated, it's manufactured. It's not what you do likely every day. And I just want to say that it is often a distraction. And that's the point of vacation. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's a distraction. And it also has high intensity, right? So when you're sharing a hotel room, you're sharing a car, it is highly intense. You're sharing a bedroom, right? Like maybe, if you don't live together yet, like it's really intense. So in all of this, in that weekend, in the proximity, in the travel, there's a lot of manufactured closeness. It's a lot of dedicated quality time. And again, while that's great, I'm talking about how this impacts your relationship anxiety, okay? Because a lot of this is manufactured. So that's the first piece, the honeymoon bubble. The second piece is the closeness crash, okay? The closeness crash, because eventually you have to go back. You have to go back to work. You have to go back to your domicile, your apartment. Wow, that was like, what a big word, domicile. You have to go back and it's going to hit you, right? And when we are going back to real life, that focus, that intensity on your relationship, there is a vacuum, right? Where, and that vacuum can feel like, oh my gosh, they're distant. But in reality, there's ebb and flow. There's tide goes in, the tide goes out. And in that honeymoon bubble, the tide is really in. It's really tight because you're close together for a couple days. And eventually we have to go back. We have to go back to real life. And in that vacuum, that external source, that manufactured proximity and closeness, that dedicated quality time, it goes away. Because it has to, right? We have to go back to normal life. And even though we kind of can anticipate that, we know it, that manufactured, I keep saying that, but it's really true, that closeness inevitably has to go away, and your mind will frame that as a loss, right? So it feels really good when you're together. I totally get that. And the moment that we go back to real life, to actually what is normal, your mind gets so used to, even if it's a couple days, that feeling of closeness. It's like, I don't want to say a fake sense of security, but it's definitely constructed and intensified during a very specific time frame. All right. And so eventually, when you have to go back, your mind, because it has an internalized rule book around this, how you were brought up around it, but your mind will frame that as a loss. And so when we feel that loss, we feel that distance, the time is coming to an end, that loss, your reaction can often be your immediate kind of mindset around it might be, oh my gosh, danger, danger, because that manufactured intimacy, that dedicated time is starting to dissolve. And that ebb away from closeness can feel like loss. And interesting things can happen. If you are in the Healing Girl Gang, you know that this month is dedicated towards self-sabotage. A lot of times in that ebb away, in that perception of loss, when you're just going back to normal, nothing bad is happening, you're just going back to normal, your mind and your reaction, your initial kind of like, I don't want to say like, punch, will be to self-sabotage. And that can look a number of different ways, which is why in the Healing Girl Gang, we're dedicating the entire month of July to the trainings, the implementation days, the action taker toolkit, the overthinking detox. All of that is aimed towards how to stop that self-sabotage in this moment. So, okay, we got the honeymoon bubble. We got the closeness crash, like we're going back to normal. And then the third piece of why this pattern keeps perpetuating is the expectation and the confirmation bias gap. Okay, the expectation and the confirmation bias gap. I just married them. Confirmation bias. So there's in that increase in intensity, right? That increase of time together. A lot of times it increases your own expectation. Okay. I am so guilty of this in the past, right? Where, oh, it's supposed to be like this forever and ever and ever. All right. That closeness is supposed to be like that. And I will tell you, having celebrated 6 years of marriage at this point, that's just not real. And it's not sustainable, like to be together. And we have lived a life, or literally 3 years in RV life. Like we talk about closeness, right? It's just even in that capacity, I needed my alone time, and Craig certainly did too. Okay. Like it's not sustainable for that type of intimacy and that type of closeness. And with that increase of intensity, right? Because you're sharing a bathroom, you're sharing a hotel room, you're sharing 2 seats together on a plane. In that increase in intensity, it's normal. I shouldn't say normal. Let me rephrase that. It's common. It's common to have an increase in your expectation. And I love you, but it's not real. And any deviation, if you have a rule book that says, oh my gosh, closeness and predictability is safety, because wow, I have a lot of not great feelings. I don't feel very safe when things are unpredictable, because you had maybe instability or unpredictability in your early childhood development, right? So any deviation from the pattern, any deviation, okay, we're going back. And this can even be, this was triggering for me in the past, where my partner would say something like, oh, I can't wait to get back and go back to normal. I'd be like, oh my gosh. And what really helped me to get some insight on it and to zoom out and to really see from a different perspective was that in my mind felt threatening. Okay. Because that was my internal rule book said that, and my conditioning said any deviation, any distance is threatening. And one of the pieces that, yeah, you might that intimacy might make you feel safe, that manufactured closeness. But I just want to say this, you want to feel safe no matter whether there's a vacation or not. Okay. And you don't want that hyper intense manufactured closeness to be your standard. I really want this for you. And this is everything that I work with the one-on-one clients and in the Healing Girl Gang, my community, is that we want you to feel safe. I want you to feel safe no matter frickin' what. And that's the key. That's when in my mind and in what I've known to work and how you actually feel good in relationship is you want to feel good no matter what is happening, whether there's a vacation or no vacation, whether they're right next to you or they're halfway across the world, that truly is being in alignment. When you're aligned with yourself, when you're aligned with your authenticity, when you are aligned and understand your own inner subconscious and how you protect yourself, when you start to work with that and have the tools and have the capacity internally and have the scaffolding and have the structure internally, then you're going to feel safe no matter what. It doesn't really matter if you're on vacation or you're long distance. It doesn't matter when you have this internal sense of safety, this internal sense of trust. And a lot of times, if you're this deep in the episode or have listened or on my page at all, we don't have that. We weren't taught it. We weren't shown it. And we certainly have maybe never been exposed to it. So all of this to say that this cycle actually can stop, that you can actually feel safe no matter what. You can trust yourself no matter what, no matter the distance, no matter what happened during the holiday, that creating that inner sense of safety is all about having the tools and having the support. All right. So these are the reasons why it keeps happening. And I just want to say that, yeah, this is all doable. It's all, I was going to say fixable, but there's nothing to fix because you're not broken. But we can place I like to say, my teacher talks about having lily pads to get to like a peak pose, like handstand or something. But a lot of times it just takes having the information and having the support, having the guidance, and having the tangible steps to go from here to here to here. All right. So really excited about that. And if you are needing more support, one of the great things about being in the Healing Girl Gang is that every month we do an overthinking detox, and it actually starts on Monday. This episode drops on Tuesday. You can still join, and it's really incredible. If you look at any of my highlights or stories, the results just kind of, the proof's in the pudding. Like I don't need to brag about it because just it's obvious that people and women that are in the group that are getting the tools and the trainings, it just works. So speaking of Healing Girl Gang, one of the fun things that we do is answer some questions from the Healing Girl Gang. And and again, if you have questions, you want to know more about it, the Healing Girl Gang, it's link is in the bio or link is in the show notes. So Ashley has a question, and she says, my partner and I are trying to build a partnership, but I have been struggling with anxious thoughts for the past few weeks. After experiencing betrayal in a previous relationship 2 years ago, I've been experiencing feelings of jealousy with my current boyfriend. If he's on the phone for too long, suspecting him of infidelity, even when I have no proof. When I accused him of having a dating app on his phone a few days ago, he handed his phone over, and allowed me to look through it without hesitation. Wow, good on him. Even though he's giving me reassurance, I am still struggling with anxiety and overthinking. How do I overcome this fear? So I just want to say congratulations because, him saying, totally look at it. And what the reason I said oof was that I could just imagine for somebody who has high integrity has high integrity, is highly trustworthy, they've got nothing to hide. I mean, go ahead, look at my phone, no big deal. But also, if you were that person, somebody didn't trust you and you keep showing, wow, like I love you, I care about you, nothing to hide, it would start to not feel good when that person can't see your integrity. That actually causes somebody to feel unseen. So let's talk about what we can do to overcome this fear. And also, Ashley, you're in the Healing Girl Gang. And one of the things that I like to say to my community members is that this takes time. That this feeling of fear, while it might feel very in the moment, and it's coming up in the moment for sure, it actually has a bigger history, right? This is like somebody saying, help me, I'm having a heart attack. Of course, like we can give you, I think you're supposed to take Bayer, Bayer, not like teddy bear, Bayer, to help stop it. And like you can, like, there's probably medication in that moment, but really it's like, how do you stop the heart attack? It's prevention. And a lot of times when we're not oriented towards prevention and we're just operating or reacting from the trigger, it can kind of create what I call like a cyclone of misery. Like we're just kind of in the state of high reaction. And not just that, but our tolerance, our bandwidth, our capacity is lower because we haven't really worked on our inner muscles. This is also like saying, hey, Claire, I want to lift 400 pounds. Like, great. Like, that's a great goal. How much squatting or how much deadlifting are you doing? You're like, what is that? Do you know what? Does that resonate? Because if you have never lifted a barbell, then yeah, we have to kind of start at the bare bones. So, how do I overcome this fear? This is like, well, how do I lift 400 pounds? Like, well, do you have a history of lifting 400 pounds? Like, yeah, totally. I do 350, 5 5s. That's if you're a gym girly, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you're like, what's a barbell? Then there's a whole different scope around that. But based on what you're telling me, then, and this is pretty also, I can imagine, frustrating because you're with a good partner, then what I'm seeing is somebody who has a little bit of a history, like somebody betrayed you, which is also unfortunate. But respectfully, that this sounds like not the partner, right? Like this, I mean, obviously it's not the partner, but this partner isn't like that other partner, right? So while we have a history, and a lot of times I get comments or DMs about this where my partner cheated. Well, yeah, I mean, that there are shitty people out there. That's true. And it's how you handle a tough situation. It's how you handle a bad situation. So are you going to keep walking around or going into a relationship expecting the worst, right? Just because a bird pooped on you one time, by the beach, which 100% happened to me, are you going to be walking around with an umbrella the entire time at the beach? Like, I wouldn't want to do that. So while there are tough and shitty people out there and tough situations we get cheated on, it doesn't mean that you have to walk around totally protecting yourself, wearing a hoodie at the beach or wearing an umbrella, right? So while that is unfortunate, this is, this partner's credit is gleaming, right? He's got nothing to hide. So then the question is, all right, well, where do I start? So you're already in a good place. You're already in the Healing Girl gang. And we go through this obviously month by month, and ask yourself, like, are you committed to coming to the trainings? Are you doing the overthinking detox? Like, how active are you in your healing? This is like, I want to lose weight. Okay, I'm just using health because it's just, or fitness, it's just easy to do. I want to lose weight. So we can talk about it, but how are you actually showing up for it? And while it seems very different, I really believe the mindset and the approach to long-lasting health and vitality for fitness, and also your mental health fitness, because this is mental health fitness. It's really not that different. Are you going to the gym? Are you eating the right food? Are you dedicating the time? Are you making this a priority, right? Because you can talk about wanting to heal it, but are you actually showing up, right? So Ashley, I can't wait to give you some coaching in the Healing Girl Gang. When you show up to trainings or in any capacity, I can't wait to see you celebrating in the overthinking detox that we do. And overcoming it is about recognizing also that this is not the person. This is not the one that's cheating on you, right? And the deeper proactive things that you can do to heal your anxious attachment, we're doing that together in the Healing Girl Gang. All right, angels, I'm thinking of you. I'm sending you lots of love. You've got this. Mwah.